Hey everybody, Shiv here. So, we're going to be talking about 3.1 for World of Warships. So, 3.1 came out and introduced some really cool things. Alright, we've got now exterior little pennants and flags and stuff we can fly on our ships, which is pretty freaking awesome, I might add. You know, take a look at some of these here. You know, this is probably one of the best things they've added because you get little bonuses, little defensive values and whatnot. And I mean, each have their own thing. Magazine detonation one, that's huge. All right, if you've ever been detonated, congratulations. You're going to get at least 10 games where that won't happen. So you may want to hold on to those if ever there's a clan war. All right. See, next up we've got the India Delta. Plus 20% combat. Capability recovery time when the repair party consumable is used. Sweet, you get to repair more damage. Or is that the you can actually repair more stuff as that's active, i.e. fires and damage? Not entirely sure on that one. We'll have to check that out. Alright, 50% to experience earned in battle. Huge! It's like a cheap-ass subscription. Alright, or premium. 5% to ships turning. Cool. Which, by the way, this one is really hard to get unless you're like a really baller destroyer or like a great marksman with a battleship. Is like you can just fire 2 shots, boom, blow 1 destroyer, and then unload the rest, boom, blow that one up within that time frame. It's very difficult to get. So yeah. Having that be there really does kind of suck. But it is doable. Okay, this one. Ho-ho. Increase secondaries and yeah, wow. I'd love to get this one. I really would, but pretty much you're going to have to farm this on like Japanese battleships in order to really pull this one off. But yeah, right now it's a little difficult to get with the US line, to be perfectly honest with you. First Blood. This one is probably one of the easiest ones to get. Just kill something before anybody else does. Boom. Alright, I've gotten this several times and used it several times. Okay, yeah. This one really helps. If you get just Wookiee Stomp right away, like you walked right into a trap, this kind of helps. Not much. Juliet, Yankee, Bizzo 2. Wow. Flooding recovery. This one is okay. I like this one. I think this one's really cool. But there's another one I think would be a lot better. Alright. Hotel Yankee from Die Hard. If you don't know what Die Hard is, this is basically you ram something and you live. Minus 20% damage received when ramming the enemy. Alright, folks. Now you know. Ramming is going to become a strategy here. Plus 50% damage caused when ramming the enemy. Okay, so to put this in perspective, your 14,000 hit point destroyer is now doing 21,000 damage. So you basically are a super torpedo. Alright. Next up, India Yankee. 20% up to the time of fire extinguishing. This is probably the best one you could have. Because, I'm not even going to lie. Some of the mechanics and things they've done in 3.1, little bonkers. Alright, so, that's part of the good. We're going to keep on going with the good here. The tech tree. Okay, so guess what? The US gets a BB line. For the most part, this is good, except for there's one huge problem. And I do mean huge. Alright, so 356 millimeter. Alright, for those of you who can't do the math, this is roughly 14 inches. Alright, so blah blah blah. With the mod, this mod here, only goes 14.9 kilometers. 14.9 kilometers. Now, I know for a fact that this ship could actually hit 22 kilometers. I also know that ships like the Fuso could hit 23 kilometers, which, by the way, is in the same tiering here. All right, so you got 6 and 6. So now let's take a look. Was the Fusos accurate? Let's find out. 19.8. So I understand the Fuso gets skipped down a little because you can't really have those super long ranges. Okay, that's fine. But come on now. Why is the American one gimped so hard? I mean, it's a significant gimp. Even if you take the upgrade that gives you the plus 16%, you're still nowhere near what you should be. I mean, you're still like 2 kilometers under what a Fuso could fire at. But at the same time, there's the trade-off of the accuracy. Okay, cool. But here's the problem I have with that. The Fuso still has the range and can take a modification to get accuracy and or more range. Where I actually have to take the upgrade in order to get range that's anywhere near comparable, and it's not comparable. So that is a huge disparaging thing. And I'm going to throw one more on top of that. And this is actually a complaint I've had previous. Alright, so the Fuso had that range, right? Let's see. The Amagi, which by the way is not a battleship. It's a battle cruiser. And in all honesty, it's a paper ship because it was never made. The hull was damaged in an earthquake. It was actually going to be converted over into an aircraft carrier thanks to the Washington Treaty. Wow, I actually know something about history. Alright. But it was using these guns. But now look at that. 19.9. No, these guns actually fired at a max range, or an optimal max range, of 33,000 meters, or 33 kilometers. 19. And it gets worse when you start looking at Nagato, which has the same guns, and it shoots further. You get what I'm saying here. So yeah, definitely some problems there. Definitely some problems, considering I know for a fact that these guns actually could depress down to -5 and up to 35. Yeah. So, slight little problems with the scaling for ranges, but that's kind of universal. But I think they really need to readjust the New Mexico. Alright, so continuing on with the good, the American BB line, all in all, I would say is probably one of the funner experiences I've had. It really is. The ships can turn pretty decently once you get past the fact that they're very nearsighted, which means you have to get a lot closer, which, I hate to say this, that getting closer aspect does kind of negate the whole Japanese inaccuracy, because if you haven't realized this, the further shells travel, the more they spread out. Thus, wider grouping if you fire it all in one salvo. If you're firing it just single fire, the effects are less noticeable. So, but because you have to get closer, they can actually, in theory, get more shots on you accurately. But because you have that great maneuverability, you can kind of dodge shells. It is possible. I've done it. And you can now dodge torpedoes from DDs and sometimes from really crappy CV players. So keep that in mind. I guess, you know, there are trade-offs for everything. However, I still feel the gun ranges are way grossly undervalued. Alright. Now, Japan got their CV line. But they kind of got gimped on this a little bit. You know, you'll notice that there's no Tier 10 carrier. Well, there's a reason why, because these were pretty much the only carriers they ever got to make. They might have had plans for some other ones, but those never came to fruition. Alright? They did not. Sorry. Just did not happen. But these are really monstrous carriers, guys. They really are. I mean, the amount of planes in each squadron is just kind of bonkers. Alright? And the amount you get per each is also pretty nice. Their damage outputs are still pretty good. And for once, dive bombers actually have a valid use, mostly because the developers broke the game in one aspect. Alright, now we're going to get to the bad. Okay. Now, I understand that the top decks of these ships are mostly made of wood. Yeah, it's one layer of wood, people. Alright? You see wood there. Wood there. Let's get to the American ship. Alright. Oh, look at that. No wood. Oh, look at that. No wood. Now, I'm bringing this up for a reason. Because ever since this patch, HE has taken on a huge role in this game. The developer said they were changing the way armor worked. No, they didn't really change it because you're still getting crap shots with AP at times if you hit in awkward spots, and also not doing any damage at all in certain spots. However, what you are getting now is everybody playing with HE because fire damage actually matters, alright? Seriously, you're seeing American DDs running up, point blanking, and just lighting ships on fire, and then dropping torps on them, and then running away. Now that kind of seems like an interesting tactic, yeah, sure. But when you talk about ships like the Cleveland, or the Atlanta, with very rapid rates of fire, it's pretty disgusting. Beforehand, it was like 1 out of 25 shells that was an HE had the possibility of lighting you on fire. If you had the Firebug little command skill, it increased that a little bit more. Now, however, it's actually closer to like 1 in 8. I'm not even kidding. I launched full salvos and light 3 fires when all of them hit with HE from a battleship. It is completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. What's even worse is now that dive bombers actually are valid, you gotta worry about those guys even more. It used to be like, dive bomber, whatever. No, you're dying to that shit now, guys. You really are. It will wreck your day. So, remember, stay next to your cruisers. Or cruisers, stay next to your battleships, alright? Really important there. And carriers, stop being greedy little whores. Bring out the fighters. Air cap your fleet. They'll love you more for it. And they won't yell at you the entire time. Alright. So, that is one problem. It's a very significant problem. Now, we're going to get to the ugly. For a while, destroyers had this really great reputation of being, nimble little killers. But now, because everybody's using HE, their survivability is shot. And because of the way HE works, they're literally getting blown out of the water so quickly. Like, 1 battleship shell of HE will pretty much instantly light them on fire, take out like 4 of their components, and most likely take them out of the fight. Especially if you hit anywhere from here back. The second gun, back. Alright? Because that's ammo, steering, engine, torps. And yes, you can get magazine explosions with HE on a destroyer. I've done it. 1 single shell. Alright? It is possible. So that is the really ugly thing. So destroyers, you're going to have to play a lot more carefully, man. You really are. It's a dangerous world out there. All cruisers, even battleships are packing nothing but HE. Because they just want to watch the world burn. It's effective. Alright? You use your repair to put out 1 fire, and then the next salvo sets you on fire. That's a minute of burn. That is a minute of damage. The more damage you do in this game, even if they repair it up, that's more experience, more credits, and things of that nature. So people are catching on to this pretty damn quickly. They will light you on fire the entire game. This is completely inaccurate historically. There are many people complaining all over the forums about there's no way in hell a DD should be able to burn a battleship to death. But it happens. It's actually happened quite often. Alright? Atlantas are going toe-to-toe with Tier 8 battleships and setting them afire, neutralizing their guns, and basically making them absolutely useless. I saw this in a battle and I was like, the horror, the revulsion of it just was completely mind-boggling. So, yeah. Other than that, there are a couple other interesting aspects that I find should have been taken care of, have not been taken care of, and I'm a little disappointed in that. One, the carrier drop range has been a significant impact issue that everybody complains about, except for carrier. Now, I will say this, yes, BBs get a little bit more of a turn advantage. That's cool. But when you're still allowing planes to drop at 1.5, you can give them all the turn advantage they want. They're still big, they're still wide, they're still not moving fast enough to dodge. So you may need to actually correct this and go to a 2.5. Now, I know 2.5 seems like this horrendous thing, but no, not really. It would actually force the CV players to have to aim ahead, to anticipate, much in the same way gunner crews actually have to aim ahead and anticipate. Because, oh, guess what? Torpedo bombers actually had to, wait for it, aim ahead. No, true story, they did. So the fact that that's not anywhere near accurate in this game is a little bullshit. Right now, CVs are enjoying like unprecedented dominance in this game. And you know, I'm all for CVs being dominant because they changed the face of naval warfare. They honestly did because of this. But at the same time, the AA in the game still is underwhelming. No, it's completely underpowered. All right, I'm sorry, it is. And that's actually been a problem in this game since the beginning. The fact that we still can't drop mines or any kind of, you know, blocking sort of thing that, you know, if ships come into a zone, they could possibly take damage from a mine. I think that would be something cool. It was one of the tasks that destroyers actually had, was laying mines. Why isn't that in here? It would add a very interesting aspect to the combat in this game, much in the same way that the Kitakami adds a different dynamic of strategic play. You could even make it a premium ship that it could only drop mines. That's fine. I would be all for that. But I'd like to see that in the game. And I was a little disappointed we did not get here, because really modeling a mine and wouldn't be hard and wouldn't really even be that difficult for you to do the damn thing and model a ship. I mean, you made a lot of models for ships that aren't in the game. I'm pretty sure you can find one to use for this. Alright. But other than that, there's probably one other thing, which actually I should have mentioned during the good, because this one's made me feel so ecstatic. The aim mod, you know, the assist that everybody was using. Now, I'll be honest, it made players weak. It really did. Oh boy, did it. Because the moment this patch came out and people tried to play it, they couldn't shoot for shit. Alright? Mind you, people who had not used that aim mod and had learned how to aim were fucking just destroying them. Kind of like we said would happen. Now, I still say that having an aim mod like that does not hurt the game overly. Mostly because it was one of the more inaccurate things I'd ever seen. I tested it and it was like, you should aim here. No, I'll never hit the Citadel. I should aim here. Oh, look at that. 4 hits to the Citadel. So, because I knew how to shoot and where to shoot, I was able to evaluate that mod a whole lot easier and a whole lot more critical than some other people did. But that's gone. Yep, it's gone. For now. You know somebody's going to come up with something new. So, sailors, start learning how to shoot, man. Though I will say that the gunnery in the game has gotten a lot better. Now, probably the biggest complaint that I and a lot of people have. 3.1 introduced so much fucking lag. It's not even funny. My lag light stays on constantly. When it's off, I'm actually surprised. Alright? Now, I was getting it intermittently beforehand, but now it's on constantly. I'm not downloading. I'm not torrenting. I have no other damn pages open when I'm playing the game. When I'm streaming, it's definitely on constantly because I'm using both up and down. But overall, I think they may have done something that really affected their server stability. Either that or the increased amount of people is causing network lag. But the problem is when you look at the numbers, it does not equal out because we were still playing with that many people on before and not getting this kind of lag. So I don't know. Maybe Wargaming just needs to upgrade their hardware, possibly. It's not really my place to say other than to complain that the lag is kind of a problem. Alright? But other than that, 3.1 is a step in the right direction. However, I feel it is an unfinished patch. Alright? They're going to have to do a lot of balance and tweak patches after this because there were a lot of things that obviously were not tested properly. The RU people didn't test it properly. And the people who actually signed up to participate in that may not have actually reported it correctly or something. I don't know, but some of these problems are pretty freaking blatant. The massive amount of fire that is just going on here. I mean, it's outrageous. You look across your battlefield when you're dead, every ship's on fire. That should tell you there's something wrong with HE, guys. Really. All right? It's not that everybody's taking that fire starter perk. No, no, no. We're not. It's just HE is so much more powerful because of the massive amount of fire. That needs to be scaled back somewhat. I think the damage that it's doing because of fire, that's fine. I actually have no problem with it. But the amount of occurrences of fire is a little bullshit. Alright? I'm just going to show you this right here. This ship, I actually have the flood and fire extinguisher, and I have the -5% to fire. Well, here's the problem. Every time I get hit by HE, I'm catching on fire, so that 5% ain't worth shit. So why the hell did I spend credits on it? Wargaming, you guys need to re-examine HE, and also armor interactions plus HE are not quite accurate either. But other than that, that's my 2 cents. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe. We'll be doing some more gameplay footage later on, now that the system can actually handle it. Till next time, this is Shiv saying, anchors away, boys.